So I've seen an absolute ton of different videos on TikTok and YouTube discussing like the best places to build ore bases in Palworld, because obviously ore is quite heavily needed in the late game, and the ones I've seen them recommend aren't actually the best, and I'll give you reasons why when I go round to them. But what I will say now is that I do have 100 hours in the game, so I do know what I am talking about. I've got over 100 hours actually, and I do have multiple saves where I am at max level and have tried all these different spots they have suggested, and I personally know which ones are best. So let's get into the first one. So the first one I'll be discussing is just across from the Chillet in the very starting area of the game next to Fort Ruins. Here it is on the map. It is one of the more highly suggested and recommended ones out of all of them, and I personally think it's completely wrong. Why? Well, here's why. Because not only is there only 6 ore veins, you can find other spots which have more, and it's got these little rocks around the outside, as you can see. These rocks cause major issues for the pathing of your pals. This area is far too small for you to feasibly build a high functioning base in. I have built here twice, and both times it has been highly inefficient and have caused issues with pathing for my pals. And because of how large the base radius is, unfortunately when you place it down there, it will go off the edge of the cliff and pals will spawn off the cliff, and then they will start starving to death, they'll get sick, they'll get miserable, they won't work properly, and you constantly have to reset them, and it's just not worth building here. You don't have enough room to feasibly build everything you could want at your mining base unless you kept it to the bare minimum without anything else apart from just mining operations. So, in my opinion, it's just not the best spot to build at. Now let's look at the next one. So the next one is right behind the desolate church. You will find a cluster of different ore veins and trees and stuff, and this one I also see suggested quite a lot because it's easy to find and it's easy to find early on, but there's a lot of issues with this one as well. Now, I never built here, but I do have a friend who is currently built there and he's having a lot of issues. The main one being that you can't build near the church itself. That is a restricted bit for you to build at, and you can't build off the edge of the cliff. So basically when you put the zone there, a bit of it will go off the edge of the cliff. You don't want that. Pals will fall down, they will get stuck, they will starve, just like what happens with the previous one. He put up walls and it still happens. And then the pals are able to get up, but they don't take the short route. They take the long route around the front of the church, going all that way, and it just makes it so much more inefficient than the spot I like to pick. And the trees in the way mean you constantly have to clear them and build shit there, which then can also cause pathing issues, and there is just lots of little things about this place. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but the slope terrain that it's on, the sheer volume of trees in between all the ore, the small-ish building area, although it is better than the previous one, you still can't use a large section of it because it goes off the cliff. So, in my opinion, there are just a better choice out there, and that's what we'll be moving on to now. So this is the spot that I personally recommend. This one is probably the best one in the entire game from what I have found. Now, the reason why it's so good, one, it's a huge build area. If you put your little power box against that stone wall right behind you by the tree line, you can cover all of the ore veins and have some of the above area to use as well. I'll show you in a second what the above area looks like. And this area has amazing space, and it's flat, and you don't have to go near the cliff, so your pals should realistically never fall off, never get stuck anywhere. And it's really, really nice because there's no pathing issues. There is 7 pieces of ore instead of the usual 6, and you can actually build a full base here with the amount of space you have. This place, compared to the desolate church, I tend to find whenever I go to collect my ores, I have at least 30 to 40 more than my friend does at his desolate church one, and if you just leave it running by itself, there has been a couple of times where I have gone off for 2 to 3 in-game days, come back and found 1,000 ore. Now that's because I have some of the best pals in the game on that save, so if you only are running Doom mods and stuff, don't expect that. But if you are looking for a solid early game spot, considering where this is, it's just to the west of the small settlement. If you go west-southwest from the small settlement, you will quite easily find it. The best way to know where it is to look for the giant bridge. There will be a giant bridge off in the distance from where it is, and you can always see it. It's a great landmark to know where it is because it's kind of easy to find. But yeah, this spot is just the best. I have had zero issues building here. It's so much more efficient than the other ones. There's no pathing issues and plenty of space. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll be releasing better and more high quality Palworld videos in the future. I know this one isn't my best, but I'm doing it a little bit rushed just to get a video out, purely because I haven't uploaded in a month. But the next one I will put a lot more care and effort into. So, if you would like to see that, please subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.